The new information that we found is, number one, THP officially sent down a confirmation about the identities of those who were killed, Matt Blancett and Sergeant Lee Russell, but we also found out from this release that they were, quote, conducting an aerial mission in the Chattanooga area when the helicopter they were operating crashed in a wooded area of Marion County, unquote. This is the wooded area that they were talking about. You can see just a little ways up there the power line that was knocked down that they crashed into and that eventually caused their deaths. Now the FAA and NTSB are both on scene investigating, trying to find out what happened.
Anything else, sweetie?
Visitors at Big Daddy Fireworks in Marion County expressed concern.
It was a lot of traffic, a lot of helicopters. Don't even know where they came from. But there was just more and more. They just kept coming.
They kept coming in and hoping.
Basically shut off. Everybody was just waiting it out and praying.
THP says one of their helicopters crashed into this TVA power line, killing a Marion County deputy and a THP sergeant.
Are we having reports of a downed chopper as well?
10-4 Marion County is advising that the helicopter hit the power lines and went down.
You can listen as these reports started to come in over dispatch courtesy of Broadcastify about the cable more than 100 feet in the air that blocked the I-24.
The power lines are across the roadway at this time.
Their crews worked from the air to repair the damage. This FlightWare tracker system shows that the helicopter was in the air for about 16 minutes before the tracker went dark. The crash happened about 20 minutes later at around 4 p.m. Tuesday night. Now, as the FAA and NTSB arrive to find out what caused the crash, you can see from our News Channel 9 Skyview officers working to investigate the tragedy. And you can see right here, this is the wooded area that they're going through. The ground is very rough. It's not something that can be traversed easily. They had to bring in ATVs yesterday to be able to go through this area to find the crash site and work on the scene. Reporting in Marion County, I'm Sam Pena.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Now let's go to Jordan Karnback, who continues our team coverage tonight. Jordan, you're hearing from community members on this tragedy.
Yeah, Kim, as you can see behind me, a police escort has brought Matt Blancett here to Rogers Funeral Home in South Pittsburgh. It's just one sign of how much the community will miss him and the THP trooper who lost his life in this tragic helicopter crash.
Outstanding young man. It's going to be a great loss.
The community is feeling the weight of 2 lives lost in Tuesday's helicopter crash. Marion County Mayor David Jackson says both victims, Sheriff's Deputy Matt Blancett and THP Sergeant Lee Russell, left a lasting legacy on the community. Blancett was not only a longtime member of law enforcement, but also a county commissioner.
So we worked together for 8 years.
You can tell how much these two impacted the lives of the people around them from the abundance of support on social media, using words like warrior, friend, father, and neighbor. Dalton Raspberry posted pictures and videos on Facebook saying Sergeant Lee Russell was always willing to help. He writes, quote, "Most importantly to me, Lee was always a phone call away if you needed him, and if he was nearby and could help, he was always more than willing."
Just pray for the family. Next few days are going to be very tough.
Chattanooga police say 3 more officers were briefly reassigned by Chief Murphy, but an attorney for those officers say she returned their badges and guns on Friday. Now that same attorney says the remaining 10 say they're in for a long legal battle, claiming their careers are damaged. 10 angry CPD officers after the department says they were reassigned for previous untruthful reports.
It's an area that's really developing in the law.
UC Hastings law professor Jonathan Abel says the officers are part of the Brady List. This 1963 Supreme Court case required prosecutors to disclose a list of officers with previous misconduct to defense attorneys.
The defendants need to learn about information that will help their case, like credibility problems that the officers have.
Currently, 8 states publish their Brady lists, including Tennessee, which shows 28 CPD officers. But it's unknown if the recent 10 officers are on this list because their names weren't released. Now, the 10 officers say their due process rights were violated.
The very short answer is due process is a real concern for the police officers, but there's no standard answer.
We asked the officer's attorney what form of due process was violated. She sent us a statement saying they were already disciplined for their past mistakes, saying, quote, "Contrary to Chief Murphy's claim that these officers have not been demoted or punished, she is choosing to punish them a second time."
There should definitely be some standard protocols as to how Brady issues are handled across the board.
But Joe Klur with the Arizona Police Association says there is no national appeal process for officers placed on Brady. And his state, Arizona, is one of only 3 states that passed this legislation, giving officers a chance to dispute the list.
That's important because sometimes, believe it or not, the officers are innocent. The departments don't get the investigations correct.
Now, the officers' attorneys say their future employment opportunities are damaged. The attorney says, quote, Chief Murphy has used the U.S. Attorney's Office as a scapegoat for improper discipline of these officers. And our members continue to lose confidence in Chief Murphy's ability to lead this department.
It can mean going from a prestigious job that has a lot of kind of career opportunities to one that's kind of a dead end.
The new law is called the Age Appropriate Materials Act. It requires teachers to log and get approval for each book inside their classrooms. Teachers say they got very little notice that they had to get this huge task done. Teachers say they are having to come in on their own time to get their classroom books logged. President of the HCEA here in Chattanooga, Jeanette O. Markell, says that literacy is critical for students and there shouldn't be any obstacles standing in the way between them and reading.
Kindergarten, first, second, third grade are critical years to learn those basic foundations of reading and giving them that time and that individual attention.
One teacher spoke at last night's school board meeting saying she gave most of her classroom books away instead of going through this huge task.